Hey, how's it going, everyone? Oh, we're both here. I totally screwed up the very formal intro that does not need to really be like that. But thank you everybody for being here. I've got the awesome dude here, Will and Force, right here. How's it going, man? Thanks so
Hello,
much.
hello everyone. Hello.
Yes, my very formal intro uh, doesn't exist, I guess, today. But you know what? That's okay because we're cool and laid back because we got Bigfoot dude here, and Comic Dad is here, and Silver Moon Stubbs is here, and Silver Moon, Linda, Ben has been here like waiting, and Ben's just the best, always the best.
We appreciate you, Ben.
Yeah, and also I just want to say, Bigfoot dude, I don't think I remember seeing you in the chat ever, but I like your name. You're awesome. Just thanks for being here. But the main focus is to discuss and highlight and emphasize the awesome toy photographer that is Will. Tell me about yourself, my friend. How's it going?
Good, man. So I'm Will, and I started doing toy photography. I would say about I thought I got more prepared for this, but I want to say about sometime in July. I know it was like around last summer. That's when I got started on this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just something I kind of stumbled upon, and then I was just like, you know what, this looks really cool. I was like, I feel like I could do stuff like this because I've actually dabbled in a lot of like photo editing and like photo modes and video games and everything. So I was just like, same principle, just little things to get used to here and there. And yeah, over the course of the past several months, it's really grown on me. So now we're here.
That's awesome. So I think this is going to be a really cool perspective talking with you today, because it's been less than 10 months since you first started, I guess, right?
Yeah.
8 months, 9, 10. That's like, I feel like you still got such a cool, fresh, and very fascinating perspective about toy photography. And I'm just really curious to just talk about that. That's just really cool. So you are at Will and Force. So I'm always saying it like Will and Force, like it's all one word. Is that kind of like how it's intended?
Yeah, honestly, like the whole Will and Force name, it's honestly because of Xbox actually that I got that name. I used to have like it was like some random name that they first started me with. I think it was like Nexus Wolf, something like that.
Right.
So the problem with that though was the fact that everyone kept trying to call out to me, whether it was to help them with something, it'd be like, Nexus Wolf, we need your help. But I would just sit there and just kind of ignore them, keep playing the video game, and then I was just like, oh, they're talking to me. So that became a problem. So I was like, okay, I need my name in there. Will, I wanted to have the name Force in there because I love Star Wars. It's one of my big things. So I was just like, yeah, okay, Force. I was like, no, I was like, Will Force. I was like, no, that doesn't sound quite right. And then I was like, Will Network Force, and I was like, no, Network's too long of a name. So then I was like, Will and Force. I was like, Will and Force. Okay, that kind of rolls off the tongue. So
it does.
That's the origin of the name.
When I first made my gamer tag on Xbox too, it gave me some suggestions, and like, because I think I screwed up and I made an extra account, so Sirdork 730 was already taken by me because I was like, an idiot. And so it was like, what do you think about these ones? And extra Sirdork 730 was one of them. So I was extra Sirdork 730 for a while.
Awesome. And now we got the official Sirdork name.
Yes. Except for Xbox is weird now because they added like all these crazy numbers to it. It doesn't matter. But awesome. Comic Dad over here has got the idea. He said, I started following you today and I absolutely love your Sub-Zero picture. The lighting is spot on. So
I appreciate that, Comic Dad.
That's awesome. Everybody I think should do exactly what Comic Dad is doing over here on Instagram. He's brand new. I mean, under a year, at 200 followers, Will and Force, and like I could have only hoped and prayed that I could have been doing what you're doing for only been toy photographying for under a year. My photos for under a year were just looked like total poop. And exactly I think what you're doing, and I know you said you already have some type of understanding a lot with editing, that kind of thing. So tell me about yeah, like what kinds of skills have you already had from previously things that have kind of applied to your toy photography work?
I guess a lot of it is kind of like effects merging because I used to do what I used to do was like make fan posters. Like if I wasn't particularly happy with a certain poster, or if it was just maybe even recreating a poster but with like random images, things like blaster fire, lightsabers. Lightsaber was the very first thing I ever learned how to Photoshop ever.
Cool.
Well, I say Photoshop, but I actually use GIMP. Um,
Nice. All right.
yeah, so I'm a big fan of the GIMP photo editing program.
And
So
GIMP is free, right?
yes, very free,
So
very free, very friendly. So yeah, it's been kind of been my go-to. So a lot of like adding in like blaster effects, lightsaber effects, um, explosions, lighting. I feel like I just sort of got not that long ago, but it's different when you're virtually adding in lighting. Um,
right.
as opposed to like getting like actual lighting on there and then merging on that. So it's kind of like there's like things like that that I already knew, but it's interesting with toy photography because as I was like mentioning with like lighting and all, I'm still getting into that feeling of where if I have a light like actually the Buzz Lightyear is a perfect example. I had to take a blue light, focus it up really close to his face, but of course we don't want my hand in there, so a lot of photo merging and
That's
erasing where the
awesome.
hand was there. That way the light is still very strongly on him and his body and all that. So it's kind of interesting how it's like there's things that you already know but you still can kind of relearn through the toy photography.
Yeah, it's a wonderful canvas for many types of artistic types of stuff. And so with this one, so yeah, this was like perfect. I felt like for what you were talking about. This photo is awesome, by the way, for a
Thank you.
lot of different reasons. And so this his laser sword thing, I don't want to call it it's lightsaber. His
Right.
his lightsaber thingy, that's something you created in Photoshop.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks really good. That looks way better than mine lightsaber effects. So what when you create a lightsaber effects, tell me about how like you do it from scratch. Like what's your basic kind of like how you create it in Photoshop?
um Honestly, I'm not even sure there's like how many ways there are to do it. The way I've done it is kind of like the same way since day one. Is like I just know you start with like an all black foreground uh layer. You had to put the layer on screen, and then you create that little white core, and you duplicate that core about 2 or 3 times, and then each layer you want to blur just a little bit at a time, so
Cool.
you kind of get that really glowy effect. And then I actually choose one of the layers to like make that glowy layer into a color. That way I leave that kind of core white, and it really just
Oh,
kind of gives that nice little lightsaber glow to it.
awesome. Cool. That's almost exactly how I do it. So you leave one layer as the blue layer.
Hmm.
Interesting. I should hmm. I'm gonna have to so one of those layers is completely blue. No white at all. Is that underneath?
Yeah, so the
I'm
white,
getting sorry,
yeah,
I'm just
I
really
think
curious on how you do it.
yeah, so I believe what I had it was the white core would be on top, and I guess it's because of like how we have it screened and there's like transparency through screening and all that. That way, when you make something blue, it remains the white core will remain
Right.
white and everything. And that way, all the blue glow kind of stays in there.
Cool. Cool. That's so cool. And Linda over here, who's like a Photoshop awesome, she says, Do you use the outer glow effect at all?"
The outer glow. I am actually not so
I
sure if I know.
think I think what it is if whenever you're on a like you're specifically adding different FX on a layer, like the drop shadow, outer glow is one of those. Like if you ever like doing it, I use it on text a lot.
I gotcha.
Oh, and you know what? You use GIMP all the time. So
Hmm.
this might not even be. Sorry, this probably isn't. This might not even be in GIMP, or it's probably named something completely different.
So I would go ahead and say that maybe no, because maybe that's like a feature that's not on the GIMP.
Right.
But yeah, just I'm sure like if people go and like you just do a simple YouTube tutorial, they'll see exactly how I do it. Just
Perfect.
screen layer white cores, blur a couple of them, and then colorize them, and get something kind of like this.
Well, it looks fantastic, and honestly, I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, that definitely looks better than my lightsaber effects. That looks really good. And
I really
yes,
appreciate that.
and I
Yeah,
love conversations like this because there's so many different ways to get to one destination in editing. So like, I could do it this way, you could do it this way, and they could both come out fantastic, and it doesn't matter which way you do it. I just think that's so cool. I'm sorry, you were totally saying something.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this was a photo that I actually wanted to do because my mom actually had called me while I was at work, and she was like, "I have a Buzz Lightyear figure here, not the one that you see here, but it was the other one. What is it that they have it called? Like Pixar presentation figure or something like that."
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that one actually came with the cat socks, and I was just like, I don't have a socks figure. I was like, I could kind of use that. So
oh, nice. Okay, so and this is the Figure Arts one,
yes.
is it?
And
Nice.
so that yeah, which I was surprised that one didn't come with socks, because usually Figure Arts is really good about
Yeah,
adding
you'd
like
think.
all kinds of little. I mean, obviously they were good about the accessories and all that. I'm just surprised socks wasn't one of them.
Yeah, that's so weird. You think Figure Arts would come with the better accessories?
Yeah, so taking this opportunity to say thanks, Mom. Put it to good use, and yeah, it came in real handy, honestly, because I was making this inspired by one of the Mandalorian season 3 posters. So I was like, and I love doing things like that, where it's like if you take like a poster or a scene from a movie and you replace certain characters with other things. I just thought that was like a cool idea to try out.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's a really great way to draw inspiration from. Because first of all, movie posters are cool, and they're there a lot of time and thought get put into them because they're so important.
Mhm.
And it's also like something that's kind of recognizable for some people too. So like if people can make that connection, like, oh, you're recreating this, like that's really cool for you and for them. So it's like that's a really fun, cool way to get inspiration for a toy photo. I like that. But I really wanted to talk about the lighting in the photo because
Mhm.
specifically the blue lighting. I mean, the lighting you've got like on the ground, I think is also really great, and
Mhm.
it like makes those little spikes look awesome. But the blue on him looks awesome, and you've also got this really nice blue on his helmet, and so that's practical, you said?
Yes, that's actually uh I hope I'm saying their name right. The Ulanzi cubes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just kind of shine that red to his face. If I'm not mistaken, I think I blurred it just ever so slightly because I didn't want a perfectly square reflection coming off of his helmet there. So I kind of gave that a little blur too, just so that way it kind of matched the lightsaber effect that we had going on
Nice.
for his sword. So yeah, that was
Looks
I was like, because at first that wasn't there, but then I was looking and through the photos as I was editing, and I was like, oh, I was like, you know what? I was like, I should have it coming off of his helmet too, because that was something I've seen on other people who used like helmets and everything, making sure like certain colors reflect off of their helmets as well.
yeah.
So little details like that, I mean, they really do make all the difference.
They
And
do. They do so much, and yeah, it adds like the realism to it, but it also just like it makes like I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, that like it gives me a whole new reason to like be impressed by it, when I'm looking at it. So yeah, this is really great, and this is just one photo we've gone on with, but that's just a really freaking great one.
well, I appreciate it. I'm glad everyone likes it.
Yeah, heck yeah. And you guys are being awesome in the live chat. Keep throwing in some love for Will. If you haven't followed him already, we're at the 202 mark.
And I think Ben asked me earlier if I had a Spawn figure as well.
Yes, you
The
do.
answer to that, Ben, is yes. I do have a Spawn figure, and I actually went and bought a custom cape for him off of eBay.
Ooh,
I don't think I did a photo for it just yet, but it's coming. Along with like tons of other projects I have in the back of my head. It's kind of crazy how like all these ideas start flowing in your brain, but then it's like, oh, I want to get to this one, but I need to get to this one first.
yeah. So I have two questions because you brought up two really interesting things. So for the first thing was getting custom capes off of eBay.
Mhm.
Um, so custom capes I think are super important, like just because there's so many cheap capes that we get, and
Right.
there's making a cape, there's also like finding a seller on Instagram that is known to get capes, and there's also like just searching on Etsy or eBay, and you can find
Mhm.
some really good stuff. And a lot of these sellers on eBay are just like people like us that are just making them for people. So how do you, when you buy like a custom cape off of eBay, how do you look for that? Like, what do you?
So the Spawn cape was actually the first ever custom cape I ever actually bought off at anybody. So I kind of was just like taking a shot there with saying I was like, okay, I was like, hopefully they gave me the right cape, the right chains and everything. So I don't have like a tactic as to like how you choose exactly like which ones you get off of eBay and everything. It was kind of like a risk taking thing because I've
Yeah.
I've had it happen to me at least just once where I bought something on there and maybe it just never even came in.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
Yeah, it was actually for a Pokemon Onyx figure. That I guess someone like 3D printed it and everything, and was supposed to be ready to go. And yeah, but it was like well over a month ago that I ordered it. And I even tried to reach out to the seller, just saying like, "Hey, no rush," but just saying if there's any kind of ETA, if it just needs to be made. But to this day I've not heard
Oh
back.
man,
So I
did
was
you ever get
like,
your money back?
no, I haven't. I was like, I think they have it on eBay where you can like send in some kind of request to like, saying like, hey, this person's not getting back to me. Things still not here. So it's something I still have to look into. But thankfully, I mean, it was only $10, but still $10 that I could use towards another figure or something,
Yeah. I've actually had a decent amount of luck from custom soft goods on
Hmm.
eBay. Like I've just kind of go on eBay and be like 1/12 coat, and sometimes I can find something really good for decent price. Like that one time I did like that cowboy Mandalorian photo,
Hmm.
and I just found the duster, the cowboy duster on eBay, and it fits him perfect. It's just like, and it's wired, it's great. So if you're ever looking for good cloth, soft good stuff, just check eBay. And you're most of the time when you get something on eBay, you are still supporting just like, just somebody selling stuff, but they're just
Hmm.
using eBay as their thing. Oh, and so Ray Sashi over here saying the eBay money back guarantee.
Yes, that's what I figured I was talking
Give that
about.
a
I
try.
knew that had to be a thing. So
Cool.
definitely looking forward to that. But I'm actually looking forward to making my own capes. I know you recently, not that long ago, made a custom cape video and
Yeah.
everything. I just went to Hobby Lobby the other day and I got some red and black fabric. So kind of excited to
Cool.
start making my own little custom capes with the wires in them and all that.
Cool.
Because
I'm super excited to see that.
yeah, because me personally, I'm not really a big fan of plastic capes because only just because of the sole fact that there's a lot of things that I want to do with figures that have capes and all that that you just can't get with just a plain plastic one. Not
Yeah.
that they look terrible, but it's just there's sometimes you want them to flap in the wind,
Right. They're
or
static. They're not super
like
dynamic.
if you're wanting your superheroes to sit down in a chair or something, but then that cape is like always
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
always in the way and it just never moves. So then I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's really exciting. So, definitely, post about it or something. I definitely want to
Absolutely.
see how that comes out. My lesson from making a cape is cut your fabric and stuff bigger than you expect it to be.
Mhm.
Because when I made my one recently, I was like, man, I wish I cut it a little bigger. So,
Right.
so the other thing I wanted to ask you about, because you mentioned it, is talking about like you have all these ideas going in your head. Like sometimes that happens to me too, and sometimes I get an idea and I love it, and then it just kind of like goes away, and I don't ever do it because I just didn't like get the time, and I just forget. So like, do you have like a list? Like, do you write them down? Like, do you draw them out? Like, how do you, those ideas that you get, like, what do you do with them when you pile them up? It's just in your head, or what?
As far as I know, I haven't lost any ideas yet about which photos I want to do. Usually I have a pretty good like little like backlog in the back of my brain somewhere where it says like, hey, this figure exists, you have it, make sure you get back to it. But I did just recently start doing I just like write on a little notepad saying like, this little idea or this idea. Sometimes I even like dabble with like a little bit of like stop motion little funny videos that I kind of post on TikTok, and I like to share on Instagram and everything too.
Cool.
So sometimes I'll have like this idea for like, hey, I want to make this kind of video, write this down. If you got ideas for a picture, write this down. So what I think I actually might start getting the habit of is like, whenever these ideas start coming to my head, I'm gonna probably start writing them down, maybe going down the checklist. Eventually I can maybe start that, and then that way all the photos get done. Because sometimes, like you said, you just run out of time. And then after a lot of time goes by, maybe I did forget a photo project to do or something, and it just kind of gets on the backlog for so long. You just kind of just sits there and just fades.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Yeah, it's sometimes the ideas just keep coming, and sometimes those ideas evolve a little bit and change. And what I do is I just have like a list on my phone in like the notes section, and it really does help. And sometimes there'll be like, okay, I want to shoot something, and then I'll be like, what am I going to shoot today? And so I'll just pull up my list and be like, what can work right now? And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yes, I can. Okay, I can finally do this one. So yeah, that's cool. That's another thing I'm just curious about, how, because everybody's probably got a bunch of ideas,
Yeah, because a lot of ideas, they could come at like any time. So like I deliver pizzas for work, so a lot of times I'm honestly just sitting in my car. Whether I'm just like thinking blankly, or if I see something out there, then bam, photo ideas come right to mind, and then I'm just like, okay, maybe I should write this one down. And then I was like, oh, I can do this when I get home, or I can do this tomorrow in the morning, sometime like that.
Cool.
So, it just comes from inspiration. Everything just comes from like everywhere.
Yeah.
So I always have to be ready for it in some way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And some of the best thinking is done while driving. So, and Silver Moon over here uses a Google document for toy photo ideas. That's good. You can access that document probably from any device too.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah,
it's a really good idea. Cool. All right. And so speaking of recreating posters and stuff, I know this isn't a poster, this photo, but this is like, if you Google Power Rangers, like this is the photo you're gonna get first, and this is just like the most, I don't know, this is like the most iconic like Power Ranger shot, like, and it's recreated so perfectly, so perfectly. So, how long did it take to get these guys posed, and like what kind of background are you using? I'm really curious about this one.
So, I want to say I probably worked on just like posing alone. I honestly probably about an hour. I remember like honestly like just sitting there looking at the picture. Okay, let me adjust this little guy. Nah, his arm's way too far out. Let me move that again. No, I just messed up his leg. Hang on a second. So that and that's like on each and every individual figure, which takes a couple minutes just to get it quite right. And then of course like switching hands, like is this person's hands open?
Yeah.
Of course I came to realize I only had like so many, like I like to call it like the karate chop hands, like the Kimberly has got. I only had like I think 2 of them, and they were both for either the left or the right hand. And I was just like, well, the little grabby hands would be all right for that, I guess. So, yeah, so probably spent about an hour on that, just for the posing, getting them down there. For the background, it's actually just it's up on my computer screen of the command center.
Awesome.
And I do believe I had to do a little Photoshop to make it empty, if that makes any sense. Like no Zordon face, no any Alpha, characters in there,
stuff like that,
or all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think I want to say there was like something in the way of the yellow lights that are on besides the tube as well. So I kind of did a little removing on there, and then did some dodge effects on the lights and the little retro looking lights on the tube there in the back.
Interesting.
So just to kind of give them that nice little glowy effect there too.
So you weren't able like to successfully find like a blank command center background photo. So you found one, and then you had to take Zordon out. And so that's really cool. So there's a lot of editing that happened before the photo was even taken. Kind of.
Yeah,
that's super interesting.
Because I think I actually made this one. I forget what I made it for. Like maybe even for when the Battle of the Grid game came out. And I think I was like I think I was trying to put myself in the command center as well.
Cool.
So that it was a photo I held on to for a very long time, and then with the Power Rangers Once and Always special coming on, then I was just like, what a perfect time to like
Right.
go back and experience nostalgia and just put
Yeah.
that on there.
Which I have not watched yet. I actually keep forgetting to watch it. Is it really good? It seems like
It's so good. Everyone that I watched it with, I think I watched it 3 times that day that it came out, and that was like the first time I actually got to watch Power Rangers with friends, and it was so awesome. It's
Cool.
every bit like the childhood Power Rangers that we remember, but even like a little darker tone too. So I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's everything I wanted. 'Cause I wanted something done with Mighty Morphin for a very long time. They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it seems like this is because there's been lots of Power Ranger this anniversary stuff before, but like this one
Mhm.
seems like the most money has been put into this one more than any of the other ones in a while. So this just seems like the most legitimate, like high production value Power Ranger thing we've gotten since like the movies, like the first movie and like the Turbo movie and stuff. So
Right.
I'm super excited to just watch some like a Power Ranger thing that I don't know, they put a lot of time and money into, because you know what I mean, like that's Power Rangers is a fun, cute, low budget show, but I'm starting to ramble, but
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I definitely recommend.
cool. And so is Power Rangers like, I mean, your page is just full of IP from all over the place, which is really cool because it's a lot of IP that I also really like. So I'm like,
Mhm.
ooh, cool. So is Power Rangers like number one for you? I mean, you've got a really cool T-shirt on too.
Right? Yeah, little Power Rangers thing.
Yeah, that's a cool
So
shirt.
I actually went with this one because I noticed that you had made the thumbnail for this one, the Power Rangers one. So
Yeah,
I have a Power Rangers shirt. I'll put that on too.
yeah,
Um,
it's a great shot.
it's up there. I mean, I have a list of fandoms, like a big list. But yeah, Power Rangers is definitely up there, especially when we want to go talk like nostalgia. It's up there.
Cool. So if you were to, and then you don't have to answer this exactly, but if you were to pick the top three IP whatever fandoms that are like dearest to your heart, what would those top three be?
Okay, Star Wars. Let's say Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z, and Spider-Man.
Oh, nice. All right.
Try
Cool.
to go through like different little genres there if I could, but I was just like, this might be sci-fi, that might also be sci-fi. But if I had to say top three, that's the first ones that come to mind. So maybe not
Awesome.
even necessarily in that order. But we can talk about that another day because then we're sitting here
I know.
for hours just writing stuff down. And like, no, let's rewrite this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting too, because like sometimes those like your favorite IP doesn't always necessarily reflect in toy photography. Like because sometimes like Star Wars is number one for me too, and it's number one with my photos too. So that's just like a coincidence, I guess that works out. But some of the other things that I really love, like I just don't necessarily shoot them as much because I just like the inspiration for shooting isn't always. I
Mhm.
don't know. So it doesn't always reflect each other exactly.
Yeah, the calling to certain photos, that you want done. Whether it's like if you're the biggest Star Wars fan in the world, but sometimes you want to dabble with other ones. Sometimes I just can't help it because I have so many like Star Wars figures. Like it's scary, but but yeah, sometimes it's like you gotta explore the other fandoms too, and just kind of just roll with it and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, Dragon Ball is one that like has always been super high on my lists too, but like as of more recently it's fallen down, I think. Not because like I don't like it anymore or something, but it's
Mhm.
just there hasn't been as much content for me
Right.
to consume to keep that meter high.
Hmm.
And I haven't watched that most recent movie yet, so I have to do that. I'm so behind. But so Star Wars is number one, and which is awesome. And there's one Star Wars shot that you've got here that is just this is the one here. It's just really like pulls you in. Like the lighting, that's emitting from the sparks onto Bo-Katan is just it's beautiful, and it's so I don't know the word, but it just feels real because of the way the lights coming and reflecting other things. So yeah, tell me about this shot. This shot is awesome.
Yeah, so I want to say I did this on the week of that the episode came out where Bo-Katan gets the Mythosaur emblem on her pauldron,
Right.
and so it actually like came as an idea. I want to say I was watching Netflix with my girlfriend at the time, and a lot of times I spend time like customizing figures while I'm sitting there watching and everything. So as I'm sitting here customizing, I realized I was like, not only can I paint her pauldron silver and everything, I was like, I actually have the baby Grogu necklace that actually comes with that Mythosaur icon on it. So I was like, I'll bet you I could cut this thing off and
Whoa.
actually paste it onto her thing. It was a little trickier than I thought it was going to be, because it's like I had to cut the little link that holds the
Right.
necklace part off. And when you first put it on, it's like way too thick. But then I was like, if I very carefully take that little X-Acto knife and just kind of like go down the middle a bit, it would help shave it down, so that way it's kind of more
flat, flush.
yeah, and that would help it
Cool.
out. So as I did that, I was like, after I was done, I was like, you know what would be really cool? Photo opportunity right here. Let's do a little photo op where the armor is actually putting it on her. And I was like, I got the tools. I got her little little clampers there, and click them twice, make sure they work, and a little thing to make it look like she's like soldering it on there, and that's how it came to be. This was also another one that I toyed around with that same what's the proper thing that we want to call it, where you take the lights and you have it real close up to them, like little light merging, layering, and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another one I did because I was almost done shooting, and then I looked through the photos that I had, and I was like, oh wait, I was like, I don't have one that lights up the armorer's face, so I did that real quick, got real close with the light up to armorer's face, so it makes that nice thing, lighting coming off her helmet on like both sides.
That looks good. So that lighting is.
I want to give that realism of like the sparks coming off and creating light that's coming off of them.
Cool. So yeah, so you basically you took a smaller light and kind of put some by the armorer and by Bo-Katan, and then you just kind of fused them all together.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, came out
lots
good.
of photo merging.
Yeah, that came out super good. And so what are these sparks? Is that like a digital effect, or did you use real sparks? Like it looks really good.
I cannot wait to use real sparks. So especially like when 4th of July comes around, I'm definitely getting my hands on some little sparklers and everything. That's like one thing I'm really excited to work on. But that one is actually I want to say I did this one through maybe Wurble. I don't know if anyone's heard of that app, but it's
no.
So what it initially does is it creates moving effects. They have like a ton of them. They got like some Star Wars ones. They got some sparks, lots of stuff like that. They even got some like bokeh, tons and tons of effects on there.
So are they just kind of like assets that you can just kind of take and put into your image and
yeah, and you can like as soon as you like layer them onto the image, you can mask it how you want. If like there's certain sparks you don't want in there, you can mask that out.
Wow!
All right there on your phone. You could like pause it. You can even choose what moment exactly you want it to pause on.
Wow!
Lots of cool stuff on it. So if anyone is ever interested, they can check out. Yeah, Wurble. WER.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, WERBLE. And all the it comes with a lot of starter effects that I believe are free, and then whatever effects that you do need to buy, they have like bundles and everything. They're very cheap, very cheap, like maybe $3, something like that, and then you just you have them forever, and it was definitely worth putting the money in, especially when I first started, because I used to use nothing but the phone for a lot of shots, and so it really helped add effects in very easily. And then so I do believe that was the one that I used.
Awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that existed. And so I'm writing that down because I'm compiling a bunch of really helpful like apps. I want to make a video where it's just like just here's a bunch of great apps because And so that will be, you will definitely get credit for that one. But one of the things I really like about this effect that makes it feel more real is like the depth of it, because like there's like sparks in the focus area that are like super crisp, and then like as the effect goes backwards, they kind of turn to more of a blur bokeh kind of thing, which makes it feel like it's really there and moving back. Like it fits so perfectly in the shot. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that may have been like a happy accident, because I think like because as I said before, it's all like pre-made, I think, mostly, but it's still like has that where like there's certain things that are in focus, and once a spark will go off in a certain distance, that's when it'll kind of get that blur effect and everything. And yeah, I was pretty happy with this one.
Man, yeah, it worked so nicely. This one is just like, this is so good. Like, did you actually overflow your toilet to take this shot?
Thank goodness, no. So this one, I actually just dribbled some water on the floor, and I basically did burst shots, so that way I could capture that little wave moving that's on the floor. And
Yeah.
as far as the water that's drooling out of the toilet there, I actually just took a water bottle and was just kind of pouring it over.
Oh.
And same thing with that, just burst shots, and then just went through a whole bunch of shots to select which splashes I like the most. This one was the one that I could actually see. In all honesty, I wanted it to be like a bigger wave, almost like a waterfall. But I would have needed a big bucket, and I probably would have made a much bigger mess than I did making that, because those floors are not exactly made to like have water on them for a very long time. Because I think it's like actual wood or some kind of special material that you basically don't want soaked for a long time.
Right.
So I was kind of quick about like, pouring the water and then like in a towel and drying it all off.
That's so cool. That is I don't know, such great I don't know, in intuitiveness. Is that the right word? Just for like thinking of like really great ways to pull off the photo. It's awesome. Whoa, hello. Do you have a question? Do you have a question for today?
I can't say anything.
Oh.
I still work with
Anyway, she's usually got a question. But anyway, no, the shot's great. This is I love this shot. But yeah, you've got, and yeah, like I absolutely love the just variety of, no matter what you're into, you're gonna find a little bit of it. And I also love how you're just so much, like, you have an idea of an effect you want to do, whether you pull it off using practical or something digital or using a real background or a computer screen. And so like this one, did you use real bubbles for this?
Real bubbles for this one. This was a little trickier, and I wish I had the thing that I have now for it, because at the time I was at a dollar store and I saw the little bubbles, and it instantly went into my brain. I was like, Squirtle use bubble, super effective. And then I was like, I have a Squirtle figure at home, and I was just like, I was like, he looks ridiculously happy and everything. So I was just like, let's just put a bunch of bubbles around him and just make him happy about it. So I actually took the little container of the fluid that they have in there, and just actually like sitting on the side, having the trigger finger ready to go, and just like blowing into that little wand that they give you, and just combined a bunch of bubble pictures in there, because this was with the way the wind was blowing at the time, the bubbles were not being there for very long, and they were disappearing before I could even do it. So I think it was actually about, I think I took like 30 shots and only ended up using like 5 images, honestly, because certain ones look good. One of my favorite things was there was a bubble that at one point went in front of Squirtle's face. And I didn't like the bubble that being right there on his face. I was like, but I did like this glow that it was making right off his forehead. So I actually just erased the part of the bubble that I didn't like, but kept that shine reflecting off his head, and I was like, it created this gorgeous glow coming off of him. As far as what I would do differently that I could do now is like just like a week or two later after I took this photo, I was at the arcade and I actually won enough tickets to get a little bubble gun.
Oh, cool. All right. So have you used the bubble gun yet?
I
Oh,
have not.
No, it's still in the pack.
My girlfriend just handed it to me right now, and it's like, yep, still got it
Awesome.
right here. So it's ready to go whenever I feel the need for more bubbles, which we were actually just talking about today, and got a little idea to use it for next time. So hopefully the next little time I need a whole bunch of bubbles, I'll be more prepared and won't be as much of a hassle to get this one.
Cool.
Yeah, because it was definitely a little bit harder to get just because of the blowing the bubbles and then missing the timing on it and the bubbles
It's
disappearing.
hard.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little tricky.
I've tried it one time and it was really fun, but yeah, way harder than I would have imagined.
Mhm.
So yeah, you definitely pulled it off, and I love the bringing it in as like, Squirtle used bubble, because bubble is an attack, so that's just super cool. So what's your what's the idea you have for the next one?
For the next
bubble
one,
shot.
I was actually we were just thinking about it, and it's actually Pokemon related again, but this time using Mew.
Oh, okay.
Because if you guys remember Pokemon the first movie, when he's like bouncing up and down off of the little bubble that I think he
Totally.
creates and all that.
Yep.
I was like, I'll bet you I could get a bubble on there, and I was like, I might even toy around with the color of it a little bit to make it what was it, like a pink color-ish color bubble that he had bouncing off and down on. So I was thinking I could maybe get him inside of a bubble and do all that. So
Oh,
we'll see
that
how
would
that
be
works
so
out.
cool. I've never heard of this, but Stubbs said if you break open a glow stick and put it in the bubble juice, the bubbles will glow.
Really?
So there's that.
Stubbs, I'm gonna give you credit for that. That works.
That sounds really cool. I wonder if if that would work better at night, or what. Or I wonder if you could just put food coloring into the bubble juice too. I mean, maybe not to get them glow, but to change colors. I wonder if that would work.
I could try. I could definitely try that.
Interesting. This is so fun. That's one of the fun things about practical effects, is just like messing around with just random stuff.
Yes.
Like, it's like
like I love doing like special effects myself and everything, but honestly there's some kind of satisfaction out of like as most like natural photo that you can take as possible. There's something that I just really love
Definitely.
about that. So I was like the more natural the better, but again I love using special effects as well. So
yeah, and one of the things about practicality too, is if you're like new at this kind of thing, like you don't necessarily have to, like, Photoshop requires a lot of, like, you have to learn, and there's definitely a learning wall to cross. But when you're doing like practical stuff, you can just mess around with just random crap you got, and you might figure out something cool. That's one of the reachable things about practical effects. I think it's really cool. But Linda's got a question over here, and asking if you ever if you ever photograph with a black background.
I do. If you actually look on the
Yes.
image I have, I think it's more up. It's going to be the one with Spider-Man and Gwen.
Oh, yes, I do remember seeing that.
Matter of fact, the Samus one's actually
This
a
one?
good example as well. Yep. That one's actually an all black background. That blue lighting was actually just coming from the little Ulanzi light cube that I had going there, just to kind of, I don't know. I like the that tone, because I remember I was like rewatching the movie scene of Gwen falling, and I remember seeing like the moonlight coming through, and I was just like, for some reason, I really want that in there. One way I kind of wished it was like up towards where Spider-Man was, just because obviously she's the one falling down, he's up higher, far
Right.
closer to the moonlight. But there was something about the way it was coming off of Gwen and the colors on her. I was just like, this just looks so cool, and so I was just like, I went with that one.
Yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, I loved it. It's actually like one of those shots I was honestly not sure about at first. I think I was actually even using your the one that you did with Luke reaching up for his lightsaber.
Okay, yeah.
I definitely was using that as an inspiration.
Oh, cool.
But unfortunately at the time I could not get it to where the wire was actually like dangling Spider-Man just right. So I actually ended up like taking him, and I'm actually like holding him by his knee way off on the side. and
Nice.
just kind of have it cropped out. So it was just a moment where I had the two right, and I just had the burst mode going, so that way I could try to find the most clear shot as possible. Yeah, and that's the one that came through.
Yeah, it came out
Um,
great. It definitely looks like, they're falling and he's like catching her, and you've got that really cool angle to like really sell that, and it looks really great.
Yep. And then the other one that I did, an all black one, if we go down just a little bit, it's gonna be where Zero Suit Samus is there, right there.
Whoa.
That is a it's an all black background, and she's actually in a little plastic container full of water.
Cool.
And I just did a lot of like healing and cloning to kind of get rid of the container behind her and make it just do all that. This shot was pretty much inspired from Lara Croft in the Cradle of Light poster.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, I was just looking at that and I was like, man, I really want a Lara Croft figure. I was like, it would be amazing if I just had a female character that had a gut. And then I looked and I'm looking at my Samus and she's got the pistol and everything. I was like, perfection. I was like, let me do this.
Similar outfit too, because she's wearing that like just all silver spandex thing in that like
Mm-hmm.
and that poster.
And I think that's one of the things that caught my eye was like the fact that she had the gun. She's wearing this blue tight suit, whereas like she was wearing like a silver one, and I was just like, she's got the ponytail. I was like, you know what? I was like, let's get some water and do some little splash effects on here and see how it comes out, because that's one of the things with toy photography on every single one of my projects is that I honestly never know how anything's going to come out in the end. I was like, this very well could be a scrap project, but if it is, that's okay. I'll just kind of look at it and be like, okay, what would I do differently? Do I need to change the angle? Do I just need better lighting or what? But thankfully, I think I've used just about everything that I've posted. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool, and everything is coming out great. And every time you're experimenting, it's like you learn stuff, and that's so cool. And I just think it's really cool how so much of your inspiration comes from movie posters. I think that's cool. I've never really heard anybody really say or do that. I think that's really cool, and just like a really cool, great way to get inspiration, because there's a lot of really cool looking movie posters out there.
Right.
And yeah, this one with Atrocitus.
Yes.
And the code red, like perfect. Like how perfect, because they're always like throwing up blood all the time.
Right.
So like this is the perfect red liquid to do for that. So it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So is this real code red that's being sloshed around, or is that like water with food coloring?
The water with food coloring, because I had just got this Atrocitus figure, and I was just like, I do not want to get them all sticky and everything. So I was like, you know what? Let's just take this out, put food coloring in. In the end, I had to still color. I colored it, the liquid just a little bit, just to kind of make it more red-ish, because obviously when you're splashing the code red around, it kind of fades.
Right.
So it kind of becomes a little bit more clear. So a little recoloring, and it looked great. So then I was just like, it was a tricky shot, honestly. It was a really hot day, a really hot day out. I was just right in my front yard, and I initially wanted him to be flying, but I didn't have a strong enough like wire or those. I didn't even have skewers at the time to kind of like, because I wanted him to kind of like flying at the camera and maybe get some like swirling water around him and all that. But this one I was pretty happy with just like him holding out his hands, a little bit of the liquid like dripping off of his hand there, and all the
super crisp,
all the splash effects that I got.
Everything's super. Yeah, this is great. This is awesome. This is really,
this
really
was awesome. This was a good example of like one of those photos I was not sure was going to work out, but it actually came out pretty clean. I was pretty happy with this one.
That's really cool. That's really awesome. So going back to Star Wars, Linda throws out a great question. Says, "Are you doing a May the 4th photo this year?"
Yes, Linda, I'm so excited. I ordered something off of eBay that supposedly is going to come in on Wednesday. So that's tomorrow, actually.
You gotta act quick.
Yeah, so I'm just like, oh boy, awesome. I was like, so if it comes in, I got a certain photo idea for Republic Commandos, and if not, I got, like I said, I got so many Star Wars figures, so somehow, some way, I'm definitely doing a May the 4th shot on there. So very,
Sweet.
very excited.
I have my May the 4th shot already done, ready to go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. I meant to answer this earlier, but yes, I do have Snapseed. I do like using that. The healing tool on that is really, really good.
Yeah,
Great app. As far as like full photo editing, I haven't used it that much. I forget which photo it was that I tried on it, but it was a little bit of a hassle. But I did get it to work. But it's definitely a program. If I'm just doing phone edits and all that, I do like to put special effects, and then I'll pop that photo over to Snapseed and get rid of like wires and all that. Definitely love the healing.
Yeah,
that Snapseed's got. It's really, really good.
Great, reliable, free, easy app. Snapseed, just like, yeah, really, really good. Cool. All right. Well, I've got wow, that 51 minutes went by really quick.
Yeah, it did.
I've got a bunch of questions that were asked on Instagram.
Yes.
And so before I get to there, if you're watching, if you haven't gone and followed Will yet, go and do it right now. Will and Forrest, I've got his Instagram linked right in the description of the video. So you don't have to type anything. You just click on it and you're right there and you can follow him. So yeah. And remember, this guy's only been doing this since July. Like, how crazy is that? That's so cool. So I am going to pull up some questions, and I've got, there's some pretty good ones. Not gonna lie, there's some pretty good ones for this time. There's some funny ones that I'm like, all right, wasn't my first thought about a toy photo, but awesome. Okay, so first question's from Aztec Warrior 93. Thoughts on an action figure film? I'm interested in one. Trying to work on a script. So have you ever thought about an action figure film before?
In a sense, kind of. I remember when I went to go watch Lego Movie when that came out, and I was just like, the animation and everything that they did on this movie was really, really good. So I was like, I wonder if there ever would be a day where we get action figures as a whole kind of movie, whether it's original action figures or action figures that we already have, maybe a little bit of both.
Yes.
We love marketing and all that, so throw like Star Wars figures in there and all that. So
that would be so cool.
That would honestly be awesome, unless we want to count small soldiers. And
that is definitely an action figure film. And I mean, action figure film could mean a lot of things. Is it a stop motion film? Is it a movie about action figures? Is it a documentary about how action figures? There's a lot of different. So it's just like, yeah, but Small Soldiers is a perfect idea. What a great movie that is.
That's a childhood favorite. Probably one of the many toy movies that came out around in the 90s that is responsible for why I buy toys to this day. But just saying, if they were ever to come out with Small Soldiers figures to this day, I would 100% be pre-ordering and getting like immediately. I think
it's about that around that time for us grown adults to feel the nostalgia. So you never know.
So just saying, anybody that's out there watching this, if you know anybody, just saying, Mayfex, that would be pretty awesome.
Ooh, whoa. The original Small Soldiers figures that came out back then are actually pretty decent figures.
Yeah,
the legit ones. They're
I still eyeball them to this day, and I'm just like, should I rebuy it? Because I used to have a Chip Hazard and Archer figure way back in the day.
Nice.
But unfortunately, I did not handle my toys as well as I should have when I was a kid. So they kind of got ruined, and eventually, I don't know what happened to them, honestly. But yeah, I would love to have whether it ends up being buying the old figures again or buying a new set that if anyone wants to come out with them. I'll buy.
Man, I gotta watch that movie again.
So good.
Small Soldiers. That is such a good movie. So yeah, there you go. Action figure movie. So great random topic to talk about. Thanks, Aztec Warrior 93. And I wanted to ask you, like, when were you born? I feel like we were born in the exact same time. I feel like all of the same nostalgia things that we grew up with are exactly the same.
Right. I was born in the year 1991. In
91. I was
November.
92.
Awesome. There you
So
go.
that's
Perfect.
why.
So that's exactly why. Yeah,
Um,
so I was born in the month of November 2nd. So that
Late.
is very, very close to 1992. So
Cool. So yeah,
that-
we
that
grew up with
explains
all
it
the same
perfectly.
stuff. That's so cool. All right. So next question is from. Why is this not? Okay, there we go. That's why. Next question is from Maria Little Bluebird. It says, will you create dioramas for figures like Bo-Katan on her throne? Would be really cool.
So Maria is one of my good friends. Thank you so
okay.
much for that awesome question.
Thanks, Maria.
So yes, if I could ever get to that point where I start building my own dioramas, which is one of the things I do want to dabble with, yeah, Bo-Katan and her throne, that would be an amazing photo, and I will do my best to replicate that, whether if it's something I make or if someone else has made a 3D printed thing of it and does it. Yeah, I'll make that a
would
thing.
be really cool.
I'll 110% make that a thing.
There is the Supreme Leader Snoke throne that is out
Yes.
there. That would
Yes.
probably work pretty well.
That
That's a
would work pretty
pretty.
good, yeah.
I feel like that throne could work in a lot of situations, but he might be. That might be an expensive thing to get a hold of.
That might be, yeah.
Or who knows? Maybe since a lot of people don't love the sequels so much anymore, maybe he's easy to get a hold of. Who knows?
Right? It's always those big expensive diorama ones though that usually like to stay expensive. So it's like,
Yeah.
But honestly, you never know. Sometimes these toys that sometimes they lose value, sometimes they gain it, sometimes they lose it and then all of a sudden gain it. So it's like
Yeah, there's also one of the McFarlane Black Adam figures comes with a throne too. I mean that you could probably like paint that. That would probably work too.
that would look really cool.
Anyway, but yeah, that's a great question, Maria. Thanks so much. And when that does happen, I would love to see that Bo-Katan throne.
Thanks, Maria.
Next question is from Random Toy P. So it says, can you do a photo with cheese and a stormtrooper?
You just gave me a photo idea. Yes. Yeah, I can totally do that.
This is the question that made me laugh out loud when I was putting
I
this
have
together.
a photo.
It was like,
I have a photo idea already. Thanks, man.
all right. So the answer to that question, Random Toy P, is yes. He can. He will do
I
that.
can. I'll totally do that.
So what are you thinking? Like Swiss cheese or what? Like what are you thinking?
I was thinking like something like Swiss cheese. Maybe even just take American cheese and make it that so that like he's blasting everywhere, so there's holes everywhere. So he's kind of making his own little Swiss cheese. Have little burn effects in there. Random Toy P just gave me an idea.
Challenge. New challenge idea. Actually,
Yeah,
Blockbuster guy. It's kind of this month's challenge with the pizza. So
Which I'm very looking forward to, by the way. So.
I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, that's a great question. So cool. Looking forward to it. Everyone's loving that idea. I mean, who doesn't love cheese? All right. Thanks, Random Toy P. Next question's from Action Photography. From Ben himself says, what's your favorite area to shoot for Star Wars? What's your favorite spot? So do you have like a favorite location that's great for Star Wars photos that you come back to or anything like that?
That is actually a really interesting question. I want to say all of my Star Wars figures as of right now have all been indoor shooting. So I don't think I've taken any outside yet. Actually, no, I did take some outside. I took some outside in my backyard and did some. But sometimes just the backyard is good. I do want to take some into like a little tree area. And do like maybe like an indoor shot or something.
Yeah.
That would be amazing to do, I think. So as far as like what my favorite place as of right now, I would have to say is indoors, because indoors, I just got essentially every background that I could ever use, using digital backgrounds on the screens and all that. So that's always fun. But yes, I definitely want to dabble more with some outdoor Star Wars photography. So that would be really something to look forward to doing soon.
Cool. And one of the reasons why I like to shoot Star Wars so much is that in Star Wars, there is a planet with every single type of environment ever. So no matter where you live, no matter where you are, if you take your photo or your figures outside and shoot them, it will match Star Wars because there's a planet for everything, and it doesn't matter what season it is too. You know, you can in the snow, or even if you're in the city, you know, you've got something Star Wars like out there, which that's just one of the reasons why Star Wars is the best.
So good.
Yeah, it's just it fits everywhere. So cool. Ben, great question, my friend, as always. And next one is from Toy Stories, who actually totally stole my question. This is totally my question that I love to ask. But he says, what is one figure that has never been made that you would like to see made? It can be anything.
So it's something that has not been made. So I would say I don't think Star Wars Black Series has done Super Battle Droids and Droidicas yet.
No,
so
what is up with that?
I'm like, especially with like the Republic Commando set that has been coming out. Everything they gave us some more battle droids. Grateful for that, by the way. But yeah, I would love some Super Battle Droids, Droidicas. As far as figures that have not been made, something that has not been made. As far as action figures go, I don't think they've done any Invader Zim stuff, have they? As far as like action figures go,
there might be something like along the lines of the kinds of figures we collect that might have done like Invader Zim, like maybe like Diamond Select or something did Zim before. I could totally be wrong, but I feel like I may have seen them, and I don't think it was anything recent. But
yeah. I might have to do it like an eBay search, but that was just something that just came to mind.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, as far as like so yeah, it's ones that have not been made yet. Definitely Super Battle Droids, because the first ones that come to mind.
Yeah.
I would love some like modern figures to be made for like. I was talking to some people the other day about. I know we've discussed like Lord of the Rings a lot on here. Lord of the Rings would be a great one.
Right.
I really want some Lara Croft ones to be done. Some like more modern made toy, but like a classic look Lara Croft, if that makes sense.
Like classic PS1 kind of look.
Yeah, that kind of look. Or if they just go with like the anniversary remake Lara Croft, if they want to use that model, either one, I'll buy it.
I wonder if NECA has done, because NECA a while ago used to do a lot of video game stuff like that. They might have done something. I feel like
someone. I want to say someone maybe even done like the Lara Croft, like the remake games, like the last trilogy that's come out. I feel like maybe someone's done that.
Yes, I definitely think I've seen that before.
But yeah, whether it's that or even like the good old day PS1 Lara Crofts and all that, I would love some stuff like that. Been dying for it. Ever since the Indiana Jones figures got shown, I was just like, I want to get Indy. Lara Croft would be really cool to get too.
Indy, Lara Croft, and Nathan Drake all together.
That'd be great. Oh my god, that would be so cool.
NECA, I know NECA's done at least one Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
a couple of those. But yeah, what is up with Black Series not doing B2s or Droidicas yet? Like those would be perfect. And I feel like with B2s you could put them out a couple times, with the different paint and say like the gaming greats, But yeah, that's really interesting. I'm surprised. Maybe it is because it would be such a different and expensive mold to create, because those are usually, like, from what I've heard, like that's the expensive part about making toys, is designing and creating the mold, and then just printing them out is cheap.
Yeah, it just shocks me a bit too, just because like I said, like with the Republic Commandos and all that. And I remember Super Battle Droids in that game being a little scary too. It's like they're big, they're intimidating, and everything. They take several more shots and stabby stabs to get at it.
Yeah, and I've been playing Jedi Survivor a lot, and they are very present in that game.
Yes.
So, have you been playing it?
I started it on Friday. I have not gotten to it ever since, just because I've been so busy this weekend. But as soon as we get off of here, I am running to that game.
Me
Yes.
too. Me too. Yeah, it's great. The first game I liked, but not a whole
Right.
lot. But
Mhm.
this one I like a lot
Yeah,
for
I
so many
honestly
more reasons.
I honestly felt like in this game, it's like you kind of feel like Luke had the way Luke did in Return of the Jedi. You know, where you feel like he's like Cal Kestis has really like developed his skills since the first game,
Yeah.
and like you really pick up on it like so early in game. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like him, and I really like the story. In the first one, the story was kind of like,
Yeah.
let's rebuild the Jedi Order, and I'm like, well, I know that doesn't happen, so I'm like, I'm not super invested because I know the Jedi
Right.
Order doesn't. So, but yeah, so this story is really great. Super excited for you to. I've still got a long ways to go, but still.
Yeah, the Cal Kestis figure even just came in the day before the game released. So then I was just like, oh, what perfect timing! And I was like, now I'm gonna be playing this game and getting all kinds of inspiration. So
Yeah,
I'm
me
excited.
Too. Me too.
Very excited.
Um,
Thanks, Toy Stories.
oh, that's true, and they were in the Mandalorian also. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, we had that whole episode about them too. So all the reason why for V2s. So yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen eventually.
It's got to be coming soon. Give them a year. I give it.
It'll be a deluxe though, for probably 40
For sure.
$40, but the Droidicas, that'll be cool. That'll be probably an expensive one.
I'll pay it. I promise I'll play
Me
it.
Same. Me too. I would want to. Yeah, that's can't wait. But anyway, Toy Stories, great question. Thank you so much for sending it in, dude. Even though you totally stole my question, and he totally knew he was too. There's no way he totally knew that was my question, but that's all right.
It's a question I'm very excited about.
Oh, me too. That was, yeah, and it led to some good stuff. So we got Stolen Rowan says, what is one scene / show or movie you haven't done yet that you still want to?
Oh, that's a really good question. I feel like I should know the answer to this. Because what's that?
I said, oh, he has so many ideas.
Yeah. My girlfriend's back here whispering ideas to me and everything. Like, give me hints. But yeah, no, like I always have ideas going through. You would think I would have the answer to that right now. At the very second, I honestly can't remember, but I know there's. Oh, thank you. Here's a hint.
With Flick?
Yeah,
that's his name, right?
Yeah, little Flick. We were watching Bugs Life on the way to Disney yesterday, and
that's a nice looking
stopped
figure.
we stopped at Bell's Outlet, and they actually had this guy, and yeah, so there we go. That's probably a very soon to come photo.
Is he like that? I'm excited for that. Is that like an older figure that came out back when the movie came out?
I don't even have the box anymore. I just threw everything out, but I think they recently had some kind of line of figures that came out.
Really?
I saw Bugs Life on there. I think I saw Incredibles. I saw Monsters Inc. I saw Monsters Inc. on there.
Oh, maybe it's like the McFarlane, because they've been putting out the metaverse, or not metaverse, something Mirrorverse, Disney Mirrorverse or something.
I know exactly which ones you're talking about. I don't think it's that one though.
Yeah, because those are not very traditional Disney. They're
right. I was looking at the Maleficent one the other day though, and ideas were already coming to my head. But just at the time, I was already having a whole pile of figures in my hands. I was like, maybe not today, but if it's still here tomorrow, maybe then. But yeah, so A Bug's Life. Here we go. That's
cool.
one.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be really cool.
So that is okay. Here it is. So it's a Pixar featured favorites figure.
Feature favorites.
Did 1998? No, that doesn't sound right.
Maybe it's like a Disney Store brand, because they have a lot of their own stuff.
Okay, so this one's got a different variety. It doesn't say exactly which company made it and whatnot, but yeah, it's called a Pixar featured favorites.
Cool.
And they should have like they have like one Bugs Life set. They have Monsters Inc. I forget what the other one was, but that's what that's from.
Sweet. Oh, and Johnny in the live chat says it's only $15 on Amazon right now, so that's 15.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I picked it up at Bell's Outlet for $9, so it's a great buy.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Cool. I'm really looking forward to that. So next question. Thank you, Stolen Rowan, for that one.
Rowan's another one of my good friends, so thank you, Rowan.
Awesome, Rowan. You got some great friends coming in for you, pulling through. Next is from Toys for Shots. It says, what was your first toy photo?
First toy photo. Man, we have to do some digging here.
Is it on your Instagram?
It should be on the Instagram somewhere, because I know there was because basically how I got into toy photography was different stages. There was times where I was kind of very picky about what figures I would get and bring home and add to the little collection shelf and all that. Probably like way down. I would say maybe one of the Transformers.
Okay, I'm scrolling now. You're going way back. You've been busy since July. All right.
Yeah, it was like sometime way back in July. 'Cause I thought I was going to be prepared for the question like that, but man, that was way back. Because it was a weird transition from when I was like just getting figures and adding them to my collection. Then I got to taking a photo of a toy that I just picked up. Like, hey, got this toy. Let's add to the collection. And then it would go from doing that to posing figures a certain way.
Right.
And then you get from posing figures to actually angling the camera to be certain ways and representing that to adding backgrounds. It's a blur when it goes from just taking a picture of a toy to really trying to create a scene and all that.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome question. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to really dig back and find when exactly toy photography for me became toy photography.
Yeah, I think I'm coming into the era in which that because I was doing some scrolling. So maybe is this around the hang on. Is this around the time where this is around the first couple
Yep, so that's the that was the star scream that I got. I just thought it was really cool to add on into it. Just took a photo of that, and I was just like, I think this is around the time where I started. I was like, this actually looks really kind of cool, and the way the light hits him and all that.
Yeah.
I want to say actually I may have even started like taking pictures, and then I did a TikTok where it was recreating that scene from the movie. Yeah, this one right here, where I was just like doing really cheap stop motion effects of recreating the scene from the Transformers movie.
I think I had it. The stop motion.
There's like a lot of examples that I did.
And my transition was basically the same kind of thing too, as yours, just like posing until I eventually was like, this looks cool like this. Maybe I should take a picture of it, and then there it is. It just goes from there. Where is that? I feel like I just had that little stop motion up, and then I lost it. And it was really cool because here's another example.
Yes, the Cyclops punch. Love this one. Next time I use these. The whole audio and everything's in there. I don't know if that's something we get demonetized for, so I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, it's possible. But no, your voice acting was even better.
That's something I haven't dabbled yet either. Maybe that'd be another thing to try out one day.
I mean, why not? If you're doing the stop motion and you've got the mic, you've got the voice, that would be really cool. I'd be that much more interested to see it. If you did the voice acting.
Yeah, so hopefully that gives you a nice little partial answer there, Toys. It's really hard to find exactly where it started, but definitely like around the time on my Instagram, July, you'll kind of see it like from just taking pictures of my Transformers to actually posing and creating scenes. And yeah, I got hooked on toy photography pretty quick after that. And I've been, that's when I started watching Jared's videos, a lot of very, very helpful stuff.
Awesome.
Forever grateful for that, by the way. And
thank you for watching them. Trust me.
Yeah, it helped a ton because honestly, when I first started this, I was like, I'm the only guy doing this. But then I found this whole community doing it too, and I'm just like, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it is kind of like, it's almost overwhelming when you first kind of learn what toy photography is and that it's a thing, and then you learn that, wow, there's a lot of people doing this, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of people doing this really well. Like, I remember that feeling, like just seeing people doing, like, I'm just making crappy stuff with my phone right now, and there's people making this incredible, beautiful works of art, like, geez. And I remember that being like kind of overwhelming at first, but quickly realize like this is awesome. No, everybody's awesome.
Really are awesome people.
Yep. And Ben, your birthday's not till July, my friend. Come on, not that soon. I mean, if your birthday's coming soon, then mine is too, but mine is not. So come on, we still got some time. Let summer and spring do its thing first.
Right. That's the seasons come. But we'll
Yeah.
we'll be there for you though.
Yes, we
We'll
will.
be there for you when that day comes.
So EB Figs over here says, "What made you finally decide to pursue toy photography?" And I guess we kind of just talked about this.
Yeah, a little bit. So kind of like the same thing. It was just taking pictures of my toys at first. I want to say what may have inspired it for me to actually try more posing and doing that. Actually, I think first on TikTok. I don't know why it popped up on my feed, but you know, algorithms being the way they are, they're
Awesome.
weird. But for the first time, I'm actually very thankful it was weird this one night because it showed a Transformer photo, and the guy took those 3-0 figures and gorgeous looking figures. A wee bit out of my budget, but they are amazing.
They're incredible.
And so I was just like, he did all this, and I can tell where he used a little special effects here and there. I was like, but maybe I can dabble into a little bit of this, and then like, you know, start doing little dioramas and little cars and smash them up and stuffs like that. And it kind of just launched from there. So
Cool. Thanks, TikTok.
Thanks TikTok and the other toy photography people who've been doing this way longer than I have. Every single one of y'all, honestly, are inspiration. So by all means, keep them coming.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Same here. And TikTok's a good place to be, even if you don't really like it. TikTok is like the only place that is out there that you could put something up and it can just randomly get 1 million views just out of nowhere. You know, you put something on TikTok or on Instagram, there's not a huge chance of that happening unless you already have 1 million followers. So TikTok's a good place to be. So would recommend it. Would definitely recommend it. And thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it, my friend. All right. So EB Figs. Awesome. Thanks for sending it in, my friend. Next is from Olo Photography. What was your first photo and which about which you were okay, so this isn't the same one. So what was the first photo you took that really made you like really proud, like wow, this is really good, I'm doing good?
This one I'm actually glad it came up. It's actually my wallpaper on my phone to this day. It's actually the third image that I have pinned at the very top of my Instagram.
This one's awesome, and you know what, I wanted to talk about it too. I've got it ready here. This one here. Let's see.
Yes, I was very proud of this one. I think I even like reposted it several times, but then I was like, it's a little much. I was like, let's just leave the first one there as it is. Because I started dabbling with like the ways you can post photos, even like having it to where you like you slide and see the whole photo that way and everything.
Yeah. It's very cinematic. It's really cinematic.
So what made me so proud of this photo was that this was all done on the iPhone 11. Well, let me rephrase that. The shot itself was taken on the iPhone 11. GIMP was what I used to add the special effects. And if you actually scroll through, you'll see what the original image looked like before a whole lot of special effects was done, and then everything done on the iPhone 11. So everything else that you see, like the little flare and smoke and lasers, all the iPhone 11 stuff. This was the first one that I was wanting to go for like kind of like a Battlefield game kind of look to it. And after this was done, this is where I just really kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? I'm proud of me. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for this one.
Proud of me. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And if you look too, the flag, he also put the flag on there, the Imperial sign on the flag, and with the way the symbol is kind of flowing, it also adds more texture just to the flag itself.
Yeah, because originally it's just like one of those like little wipes that you use to like clean your glasses and stuff like that.
Okay.
So one thing I would do differently with this is I would have like used the air spray and everything to kind of make the flag move, but I just didn't have that at the time. But then I was like, you know what? I was like, if I do a little warping on a GIMP and everything, I can make it look, almost give that illusion that doing
It
those
does.
like little bending and waving around things and all that. And I was
It
just
makes
like,
the flag look like it's moving.
yeah. So again, this
That's
was
awesome.
just another reason to be like, you know what, that's something new to try out, and I'm so glad it worked out.
Yeah, this is a great shot, and the flying debris that you added to really does also make it feel like it's in that like battlefront or battlefield,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's really a great shot, and the lighting on each one of the figures looks great. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
an
and then
awesome cinematic shot.
and that was like another thing too that I also kind of like to share too is that like because I know some people, especially me at first, I was kind of concerned about making toys dirty. Uh, so as we can see in the photo, there's not a single scratch on these stormtroopers whatsoever. But I was like, you know what, this scene is way too intense for them to be sparkly clean like that. So I was like, I gotta dirty these guys up. So I found a bunch of little like dirt PNG files and just added it flat onto the armor. Uh,
Nice.
and I was like, well, this was kind of a nifty way of adding it. Of course, now I'm all about getting my stormtroopers, all black washed out and everything, and adding that little battle worn effect to their armor. So, but I was just like, hey, if anyone needs some sort of inspiration, maybe you just don't want to dirty your figures up, there are
Digital weathering.
alternatives. Yeah.
Yes, there's a great video that Brent England Photography does use. He was on a few weeks ago, and he made a video on toy photography YouTube video on digital weathering.
Yes.
So yeah, he's got some great videos. He's got a lot of really great ideas and insight and stuff that he does.
That is awesome.
Awesome. So yeah, really, really great question. I'm glad because I really wanted to talk about this photo, but I just didn't.
Did we answer Aztec Warriors question already?
Yes, we did actually.
Yes.
That was the first one. First one we did. Thank you for. I'm assuming that's you, Gomez or Games. But yes, we did. And thank you for sending it in if that was you. All right. So we have got a couple more questions still. Actually, we got 2 more questions.
Awesome.
So next one is from Go Figure Go. And he says, what color Power Ranger would Goku be?
What an awesome question. Maybe orange. Maybe has there ever been an orange Power Ranger? I haven't kept up with like a lot of the modern Power Ranger stuff.
There
So
definitely has been at one point for sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but definitely.
yeah, so maybe I would think orange because I can't see Goku ever getting out of his orange jumpsuit. Honestly, like he seems to love that outfit a lot.
Yeah, that would make for a cool custom the kit bash. Take a Power Ranger and take, instead of the symbol on the chest, like, for the Tyrannosaurus or something, put the Kami House symbol or the King Kai symbol or whatever.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
That would be sick. Maybe make the diamonds blue instead of white, because since he's got that like the blue accents with like his belt, wristbands, and undershirt.
that
That
sounds
could be a
cool.
thing.
All right, somebody custom it up.
That could be a thing.
Custom it up. Cool. So the last question that was also sent in was also sent from Go Figure Go, and he says he sent me this and was like, explain this to us. So this looks like an old shot from you.
Yes,
2013. Tell us about this.
So I was very, very excited for the Green Arrow show coming on
Love
CW. Oh my goodness, it was.
Love that show.
I remember watching season 1, and all my thoughts was like season 1, episode 1, great start. Episode 2, even better. Episode 3, so on. It was literally a show that just never seemed to stop getting better, and my goodness, it was so good. But yeah, this was when season 1 was just about to come out. That was like the first. I think they changed. They definitely changed up the logo at first, but this was like the teaser poster that came out way back when. I was super excited for it, so I decided for that year of Halloween 2013 that I wanted to be Green Arrow, and you guys can get a good look at my early Photoshop effects there, and my goodness.
And here you are still recreating movie posters because this was
still doing it to this day. So I guess it never really left. So a lot of things stuck
around. And yeah, I loved Arrow. I mean, those first 2 seasons were just incredible. I mean, and that's actually one of the only CW shows that I actually finished.
Yes.
And then watched the whole entire thing. I got close for all the other ones, but
Mhm.
Yeah, Arrow was definitely the best.
Amazing.
So that's awesome. That's really cool. And go figure, go Miguel. He loves to just dig and find stuff.
Yes, thank you for
And
bringing that up.
yeah,
So long ago, 10 years ago that was, man. That's
that's crazy.
crazy.
10 years ago.
No. 2013. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. That's right. 2013.
Yep.
Yep. 10 years.
So my last question for you is, where do you see yourself as a toy photographer in 5 years from now?
Oh man.
What would you like? What's some goals? Like, what are you thinking?
It would be really, really cool if I ever start getting to start doing this for a living. So that would, that would be amazing. Even if it's just like a little side job, do commissions or something like that. That'd be huge honor to do that one day.
Yeah.
I strongly believe in that. If it's something that you believe in, just keep at it. Keep working at it. Keep getting all the practice in, because that's very much where I feel like I'm at right now, is the good practice stages. Since I just started doing this back last July, so just a little under a year, and yeah, definitely would love to be at a point where maybe like Hasbro, Disney, all of them, ever does say, hey, we've seen your stuff, just curious if you could give us like a couple little examples and everything like that. And maybe we
Awesome.
could use some for anyone ever needs toy box art for whatever reason. I'm sure I could work up something. Yeah, so if from that kind of point forward, if I could do this for a living, that would be amazing.
And it's so much more possible and within reach than I think people realize. Like,
yeah,
these companies are definitely looking at what we're doing. 100
Right.
million%. Like the official, like if you go to the McFarlane Toys Instagram,
hmm
the official photographer that does all of those is just one of the toy photography community members that they found on Instagram. Like, their stuff reached out to him, and now he works full time for them doing toy photography for McFarlane Toys. Like, that's his job
Yeah,
now. Like,
amazing.
it's every time I think about that, I just get so inspired, and I love talking about that. So like, it's so within reach. These companies are looking. So
Yeah, and
keep
like I said, even if it's just like whether it's a full-time thing or even a part-time thing, either one, huge honor. So maybe one day, who knows? We'll keep at it and see. Otherwise, it's still a very fun hobby. I don't have really any intentions as of right now to really stopping, because, like I said, I mean, like these ideas just flow into our brains like almost 24/7. Mine almost never
Yeah.
stops. It's one of those things where you're laying down trying to sleep, and all of a sudden it's like the brain's like, "Hey, are you sleeping right now?" Yes, be quiet. What if you made this scene using these characters?
Oh,
Oh, that's awesome. So it's just one thing I definitely look forward to doing, whether it's full-time job, part-time commission, or just a fun hobby. Either way, I love it.
cool. That's great and super inspiring. And honestly, I'm very excited to see your work in 1 year, considering what you've been able to accomplish already. So I'm definitely excited.
Very.
Cool. All right. Well, do you have any other things you want to plug? You want to talk about? I mean, besides, just go to Will's Instagram, Will and Force. It's right in the description of the video. Make sure you just head down there, click on it, follow him.
Awesome. Yeah. So obviously Instagram's the number one thing I post my stuff on. I do have Twitter. I like to share it on there as well. If you guys are ever interested in just hanging out with me while I'm gaming, I do stream every now and then on Twitch. Same username, just twitch.tv/WillandForce.
Right in his bio.
So yeah, you can give me a follow on there and just hang out. It's very, very casual. Love to hang out and chat with you guys. I do also have a YouTube. It's, as of right now, does not have any toy photography content yet, but I got some plans coming up for that one. So very excited to get started in that, and hopefully that's something I can keep at it, because I would love to have like more stuff just to get the name out there and
Awesome.
all that. So like, where it's going to be like, I have kind of imagining it as like behind the scenes, doing toy reviews, doing what these guys have done for me, showing like tips and tricks on doing toy photography. So really
Cool.
looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to have that start doing that sometime this year.
Sweet. I'm gonna subscribe.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Cool. Well, Will, dude, thank you so much for everything. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking. Thanks for being a great, great guest. And thanks everyone so much for watching, for being here, throwing out the great questions, being supportive. Thanks for going and following Will, showing some support, going liking all his pics and all that.
Yes, thank you all very, very much. Very,
cool.
very grateful.
Well, hey man, have a great rest of the week. Thanks again for everything. And yeah, I'll see you, on the gram and everything. Same with everybody else watching.
Very, very much looking forward to it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. Thanks everybody.
Everyone
have a good night.